Hey guys, Ryan here from Indy Wrestling School, and today we're talking about how much it costs to rent a professional wrestling ring. Coming up. Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing below. We put out new videos every single week. So I've gotten this question so many times over the last couple years, and I kind of avoid answering it because the price is dynamic for every area of the country, right? So depending on where you live, the prices vary. So I'm gonna try to answer it in terms of what I've spent and see if that helps anybody out. So typically there's a couple ways you can go about renting a ring, right? You can pick up the ring yourself, transport it to the venue, and then bring it back. But in that case, you have to factor in U-Haul costs. So typically for something like a U-Haul or any kind of rental truck, it's about 40 to 60 bucks just to rent the truck. And then you have to calculate the distance from the location you're picking up the truck to the ring rental, to the venue, back to the ring rental place, and then back to the U-Haul place. So however many miles that is, that can add up pretty quickly. Typically, it's about $2 a mile. So even if you're looking at only 50 miles, that's still an extra $100 just in mileage alone. That doesn't factor in gas, insurance, any of the details you need to rent at the U-Haul. So just as a ballpark number, if you have to rent a truck, I typically will tell people if it's a short distance, it's gonna be about 300 bucks. If it's a further distance, you're looking at $500 or up just for that alone. So when I've had to pick up the ring myself and rent it, it was about 300 bucks just to rent the ring, and then the transport was all on myself. So you're looking at between $500 to $700 depending on how far and how much you have to travel. There are some companies out there that will rent the ring to you and they'll actually drive it, set it up, unload it, and we're lucky that for a while we had a company that was literally around the corner from where we used to run shows. However, they still would charge $500 every single show to bring the U-Haul there, set it up, and then break it down afterwards. And I mean, you gotta figure, they have to get there several hours before the show. They can't really go anywhere. They have to sit tight till the remainder of the show and then break down the ring afterwards. So really, you're looking at a 5 to 10 hour day for these guys. So 500 bucks, it sounds like a lot, but they're sitting around all day just kind of waiting around. The guys I used to rent the ring from actually would rent a truck. They didn't own a truck. There's actually companies I've used before that purchased their own truck, and because of that, the cost was about $400 to rent a ring, and that came with setup and everything else. Now this was through a guy who ran a school. So he had students who would help him out. They were paying their dues and all that stuff. So he had a much larger crew. So it was financially, it was a little bit easier for him. Plus, he was able to sometimes get those students on the show. So it actually worked out where he was a wrestler himself, could get on shows, could rent the ring, make a little bit of money there, and then if he needed to, he could get his students on the show as well. So overall, if you're looking to rent a show, just plan to be putting out about $400 to $700 just for the ring rental by itself. Now, obviously you have the other option, which is you can buy your own ring. The first thing you need to think of if you're thinking about buying a ring is where are you going to store it? I know everybody thinks of breaking down a ring and you'll just have a bunch of just kind of semi-big, 8-foot pieces here and there, but that's not the case. However big your ring is, if it's 16 foot, 18 foot, you're gonna have long poles and long pieces of wood all over your house, your garage, your storage unit. So if you're looking to store a ring in storage, you're looking at, when I did it, it was 10 years ago, but it was about $250 every month just to store the ring. If you're fortunate enough where you have space and you have a location where you can store it, by all means, that's probably a cheaper route. If you have a truck that can actually transport the ring to the venue, you're even better off. As it stands right now, we have our own ring. We actually have a place where we can store it, but we also have to pay the cost of the U-Haul to rent it every single show. So we still are paying $200 to $300 every single show just in U-Haul cost alone. So hopefully that answers that question. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to get to them. If you like this video, beat the shit out of the like button, and I'll see you next week right here on Indy Wrestling School.